Hello, friend. When I got married in 1989, I was 23 years old. I was certain that nothing but a bliss-filled life awaited me. One that far exceeded my expectations even. Patty was the love of my life. She completed me. I saw myself at this time as quite mature for my age, above average in wisdom and understanding of all things related to life and marriage. Patty and I even went through this little workbook that a pastor recommended, that just to ensure that we would be fully prepared for a lifetime of love. Well, in full disclosure, Patty diligently worked through every section of the workbook and filled it in. And I, after a few weeks of this process, I decided that just kind of talking through it was probably sufficient. This marriage thing, we had this dialed in. It was going to be a piece of cake, at least for us. However, in our first year, I was rudely awakened, confronted with my own immaturity, my own utter lack of understanding and wisdom in the things of married life. It turns out I was prone to selfishness and pride and several insecurities. I'm prone to unrealistic expectations. Who knew? As a couple, our inability to navigate the difficult things of married life became quite devastating at times. Our first year was kind of bumpy. Today, I'm totally convinced that had we gone through some more premarital counseling, like what Friends of the Family offers, our first year would have been very, very different. On a recent Saturday here in Corvallis, 5 couples in a similar stage of relationship development gathered at a church for what we called the Nearly and Newly Married Couples Workshop. All-day Saturday thing. Everybody, before they even came, completed a Prepare Enrich inventory, and that guided the teaching of the day for the group, as well as the couple breakout question. Here are some comments that they left on an evaluation. I learned how to approach a disagreement and be mindful of my spouse's needs in that moment. I learned tools to help resolve conflicts and how to handle stress within relationships. I learned a lot about healthy communication. These are good things. Overall, the workshop was fantastic, very encouraging, informative, felt very valuable. This workshop was all caps this time, amazing, very well put together. This is the kind of event, of gathering that you help make happen when you support Friends of the Family Ministries and when you keep us in your prayers. Because of you, these couples are laying a solid foundation for emotional, relational, and spiritual growth and health. God is at work through Friends of the Family. He's at work through you when you join us. This video and letter you received are kind of a kickoff to Friends of the Family's spring fundraising campaign this year. Past years, we've done fundraising events and gatherings of some kind. This year, we decided to offer more programs and services to just keep meeting more needs in the community. But just so you know, our events team has already begun planning for next year's spring banquet gathering, because 2024 marks 30 years of Friends of the Family serving this valley and promoting healthy relationships and healthy homes. You'll hear more about that in weeks and months to come here. My hope is that this video can give you a sense of the heart of the ministry and a glimpse into where God's leading us. So please rejoice with us and consider stepping further up and further in to this important work through which God is touching so many lives and relationships. Friends of the Family is not going to stop doing relationship education, marriage mentoring, and Christian counseling with the highest excellence possible. But there's one additional ministry focus that I'd like to tell you about. It's exciting. It's daunting. It has the potential to exponentially multiply Friends of the Family's impact in the community. It will require a long obedience in the same direction, and for God to stir many hearts to join along with us. Fortunately, we serve a God who reminds us that all things are possible with Him. So after much prayer over the last few years, here's the focus area that we're obediently expanding into. Empowering local churches to implement highly effective, self-sustaining marriage ministries. I want to say that again. Empowering local churches to implement highly effective, self-sustaining marriage ministries. The ripple effects could just be tremendous, you guys. What would happen if local churches became known across the valley as hubs of healthy relationships? What could that look like? How could it impact the overall health of a local church that's striving for that? Do you think God could use marriages to draw people to Himself and into His church? I think it's possible. So we've been having lots of conversations with pastors and ministry leaders across the valley over the last several months, trying to just discern how God might use Friends of the Family to serve, support, and partner with local churches to strengthen relationships, to help them, the local churches, strengthen relationships. Toward this end, just a few weeks ago, we gathered a bunch of these people together. There were 29 of us from Philomath all the way to Sweet Home, all across the valley, representing churches. We were just beginning a discussion about the state of marriage and how God might be able to use the body of Christ in this area to help meet needs across the community, to lift high His plans and purposes for marriage. It will take time and investment, but we believe that churches and ministry leaders working together and seeking the Lord's leading, God will lead us into lasting solutions that He can use to heal and strengthen and transform marriages for His glory. Pretty exciting, huh? So, how do you fit in? Well, great question. I'd say wherever you are in your current engagement with what God's doing at Friends of the Family Ministries right now, choose to take a next step further up and further in to this cause that we know is so important to God's heart. Ask the Lord, even now, ask Him what He would have you do. If you're already a sustaining member of our monthly giving club, start giving monthly. Long ago, Patty and I decided, the Lord's leading you into this ministry, but we felt like God wanted us to give financially on a monthly basis, just to support from that angle as well. You can do that too. Monthly giving helps in so many ways sustain things from month to month throughout the year. If you're already giving monthly, first of all, thank you so much. Consider upping your monthly donations. Patty and I, as the Lord stirred, Patty and I have increased our monthly giving over the years. We also welcome special one-time gifts. We've never turned away a gift that the Lord stirred somebody's heart to give. The letter you received talks about a challenge that I'd like to say a little bit more about. A few of our other faithful ministry partners have donated in this last month to create this matching challenge fund of $32,500. So the challenge really is from them to the rest of us to match it in gifts and pledges. Of course, any one-time gifts would also go toward the match. So, are you up to the challenge? Will you choose to take another step further up and further in to this cause that we know is very important to the Lord? Saving marriages across the valley. If so, some of you already know how to give, but you can also go to our website, FOFM.org, and click the donate button, and some options of how to give pop up there. God is still on the throne. He still cares about marriages and families. And he still uses people like you and me to work out his plans and purposes here on earth. So please join Patty and I as we choose to take our next steps further up and further in. Thanks, you guys.